Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Trish. And today on Discover Health Podcast, I'm really excited to be talking with Audrey Zona from ProLon, the Fasting Mimicking Diet. How are you, Audrey?
Hey there, Dr. Murray. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here today.
Oh, thanks so much for being on the show. This whole fasting mimicking diet is amazing with the science behind it and everything. And, I'm just so excited. And I'm actually on day 3 of the fasting mimicking diet. So before we get into all the details, let me first introduce folks to who you are, Audrey.
Okay.
So Audrey Zona is an integrative health and nutrition coach specializing in the psychology of eating. She trained with the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, the world's leading school in nutritional psychology. Audrey believes that outer beauty is a reflection of inner health and champions all things beauty, health, and wellness related. A lifelong advocate of clean eating, Audrey mentors her clients to make empowered food choices and transform their nutritional habits. She successfully creates a personalized roadmap that encourages a healthy lifestyle, a positive relationship with food, and a balanced rhythm of nutrition, health, and fitness for each and every unique client. Audrey founded Zo Healthy as a way to share her passion for health and wellness with the greater community through one-on-one coaching, small group women's weight loss and wellness programs, as well as topic-specific seminars at which she speaks alongside invited professional guests. So that's awesome.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so Audrey, what the heck is this? What is the fasting mimicking diet?
So what is this thing? Okay. What's so cool about ProLon is that it mimics a 5-day water fast while eating and drinking food. The body actually thinks that's in a 5-day fasted state with just water. Dr. Valter Longo and his team, Dr. Valter Longo is a longevity expert, a fasting expert, and with 10 years of research and $36 million of money went into developing and creating this incredible fast. So what happens is there's a certain threshold at which the body can eat a specific amount of macro and micronutrients, but it doesn't tap into what we call the food sensing pathways in the body. So they have been able to figure out how to kind of smuggle in just the perfect amount of food, yet the body does not think that it's eating. So it really mimics, that's why it's called a 5-day mimicking fasting diet. Water fasts, yes, they yield incredible results if you are able to comply. If you're able to finish the 5 days, you go into this state of autophagy where we're cleaning out these old, worn out cells. And that's the beauty of a 5-day prolonged fast, is that we get into the state of autophagy. And it's kind of like that inner physician gets reignited and it puts the body back into a beautiful place that where insulin levels are reset, metabolism is reset, a lot of great things happen. But the problem with the water fast is it can be dangerous. People can get very sick. It's hard to comply. And the other big piece is most people can lose a significant amount of muscle, of body mass. And so as we age, we don't want to lose any of that hard-earned muscle. The ProLon fast includes a very special drink, day 2 through 5. It's called the L drink. And this L drink is mainly comprised of glycerin, which is a sugar alcohol that will feed the muscles without tripping you out of the fast. It will not cause a blood sugar spike or a release of insulin. So this is a very, very important part of the 5-day fast, and it really differentiates and separates the water fast from ProLon. So that's kind of the basics in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's awesome summary, because I had a question about the L drink and what's the glycerin or the glycerol, what's its purpose. So that was awesome. Thank you. The other thing is, there's water fasts and then this mimicking fasting diet. In between, there's also the concept of the juice fast. And one thing that a lot of people do on either a water fast or a juice fast, because they're not ingesting food, is they're really not moving their bowels. I've done, for example, a 10-day juice fast in my life. And again, I'm today on day 3 of the fasting mimicking diet. And I can tell you that this diet, I'm much more comfortable. I've been working my regular schedule.
Yes.
Now there are moments I feel a bit depleted, I will say, but then by the time I turn around and I go, oh yeah, it's time to actually eat something.
Yes.
So it's not been too bad at all.
No.
So one question would be around, we're taking in food, and that's another thing I've noticed is I am moving my bowels every day, at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And with juice fasting or water fasting, enemas were really important. Mm-hmm. So is that anything where does that fit in with the fasting mimicking diet?
Yeah, so it is, so ProLon does not necessarily recommend enema or a hydrocolonic for that matter. However, speaking from a personal place, I typically will go to the bathroom very regularly when eating food. When I'm on ProLon, things do really kind of slow up. So I do get a colonic once during the 5-day fast. I find it to be extremely beneficial. I have other clients who will do the same thing and they report wonderful, it feels so much better. ProLon does not recommend that. They don't suggest that. I'm just speaking from a personal place. It has never been brought up to use anything to help to go to the bathroom. I think their belief is that once you're done with the 5 days, your body will sort of resume. The reason that you're not really going to the bathroom as well as you maybe would normally go is because you're just not consuming that much at all. It's 1,100 calories day 1. It drops to between 700 and 800 day 2 through 5. So it's not significant amount of food. So people's systems will slow up. It's normal. It's fine. And really, if you wanted to move things along, you could, but it's not necessarily recommended. I do want to talk for a moment, though, about sort of the difference between the juice fast, and I'm sure you know a lot about juicing because you've done that. So my only issue with something like a juice fast is most juices have a significant amount of fruit in them, and you will be spiking your blood sugar pretty regularly when you are fasting with juice. And so I don't believe, I could be wrong, but are you actually going into autophagy when you're on a juice fast? Because when you're juicing, you are consuming, even though it's light on your digestion. And I think that's really the true benefit of juicing, is that you're giving your digestion a break, but are you really getting into a state of autophagy? Because the body must be sensing all of the sugar that you are consuming. Curious to know.
Well, usually with a juice fast, I would say that you're never drinking the whole concentrated juice. You're always diluting it. So it would be a very low level of sugar load at a time. And so, yeah, I think you're similar to the mimicking fasting diet. You're sort of flying under the radar of the body identifying much of the nutrition. But the sugar does help you alleviate the hunger and alleviate and give you a little bit of low grade energy, source, so that you're not so depleted that you can't even function, kind of thing.
It's funny. I did do a 3-day juice fast a few years ago and I was dying. I really felt sick. Whereas when I do ProLon, I feel amazing. I mean, I have moments where I'm a little hungry, but I have energy. I feel very clear-headed. I really feel good. So obviously I'm a fan of ProLon.
Oh, and I would agree, because I can tell you that when I did do a juice fast for as many as 10 days in the past, I was at an ashram and basically just getting up and doing
nothing,
and then sleeping or resting or reading or praying or whatever the heck I wanted to do. I wasn't trying to work or anything like that. So this has been much better. So Audrey, what's in the kit? What is the kit?
What is it? So let's talk about these 5 little boxes that come in this box. So you get a big box with 5 little boxes, and every day you have some of the same items, and then some days will change. So every day you will have consistently something called the L bar. And that's considered the breakfast. And the breakfast bar is pretty much just a combination of all different kinds of nuts and some inulin, prebiotic fiber. And we have a little bit of honey. The bar is 260 calories with 22 grams of fat. So it's more leaning towards keto, I guess you would say. It's very, very nourishing. It will hold you. It'll keep you full for hours. So every day you get the L bar. And I always recommend that on the days 3 and 5, when there's not as much food, to save a little piece of that L bar for after dinner so that you have a little something to look forward to. Keep that in mind.
Good tip.
And every day we have 2 soups, a lunch and a dinner soup, and they're all delicious. I mean, people request to buy these soups even post ProLon. Everything from black bean to mushroom, tomato, butternut squash, minestrone, vegetable, quinoa. They're really good. There's 2 different box choices. There's original flavors and there's new flavors. They're all wonderful. So every day you get 2 soups. Every day you get either a package of olives, you get kale crackers, which happen to be delicious. And then a couple of the days you get this wonderful little chocolate bar called the Choco Crisp Bar. It also comes with a few teas in the box. You do not have to use the tea that's given, but it's there if you so desire to use the tea. So that's pretty much every day. Some days are a little more plentiful than others. And so I always say it's important to spread out the food as much as you can, especially on those 2 lighter days, just so that you're not so hungry later in the day. You are allowed to have some extras that are not really listed in the box. So let's talk about that for a moment. You can have unlimited seltzer as long as it's only natural flavorings. You cannot have like a Spindrift has real fruit juice in the seltzer. That is not allowed. No artificial flavorings, no calorie, no artificial sweeteners are allowed during ProLon. Okay, so you can have seltzers. You can have a mineral seltzer like a Topo Chico, LaCroix, really any of them that just have natural flavorings. You can also have up to 2 pieces of lemon, and you can squeeze that in your water. We don't want you eating the lemon because it would potentially kick you out of the fast because of the sugar. It is a fruit, but you can have a squeeze. If you're really feeling out of sorts, like you're going to just quit the fast, you can have one of the following options: a stalk of celery, or a small Persian cucumber, or 2 small slices of a green apple. So those are acceptable add-ons if you're really feeling like you just can't handle it any longer. You can have up to 2 pieces of sugar-free gum a day, and you can have 90 milligrams of caffeine. So this is important to note because all coffees have a different amount of caffeine per either pod or cup. So a Nespresso, for instance, some of the pods have 60 grams of caffeine and some have 120. So it's important to note what coffee you're using and how many milligrams of caffeine, because caffeine has been shown to potentially interrupt the food sensing pathways. So if you have too much, it's really not recommended. If you're having no caffeine, you can have up to 6 cups of decaffeinated coffee a day. And yes, if you also want to have a couple of cups of black tea or green tea, that's fine. But please note how much caffeine is in the cup of tea, okay? You can have unlimited herbal teas as long as they're herbs without any additional ingredients, calorie, or sweeteners. So those are kind of the extras. Oh, you can have up to 1 teaspoon of pink or Himalayan sea salt and up to 1 tablespoon of assorted spices and dried herbs. So you can have a mix of all kinds of spices. Even cinnamon in the coffee in the morning is amazing. Yeah. And a lot of people so some ideas if you're doing ProLon, if you like your coffee a little thicker, say like more of a smoothie, you could take a little piece of that L bar and blend it with some cinnamon and coffee and get like a thicker, creamier consistency. Because some people just can't drink their coffee black, like they just can't stomach it. I'm converted. I only drink my coffee black now. after 7 rounds of ProLon. But yeah, everyone has all these little tips and tricks. So a little L-bar or cinnamon. You can even take some of the L drink. So what I recommend, the L drink has like the sliding scale with the numbers on the side. According to how much you weigh, determines how much L drink you get per day. So if you want to be using the L drink in a few different ways, I suggest pouring it into a glass, the prescribed amount. And from that glass, you can put some in your coffee, you could put some in your tea, and the remainder would go in your water bottle with the water and a tea bag. And that's something that you would be sipping on throughout the day.
Yeah, I have a question also about the leftover. I mean, obviously the directions for that glycerin or glycerol L drink is to do your weight and then, discard the rest.
Yes.
And I just wondered, what if I was to save this for, next week when I'm sort of trying to break the fast slowly or this weekend, let's say, or something like that. What do they say about that?
So this is the thing. ProLon says that there is no use for the L drink beyond the fast. But this is the thing. If you wanted to try to do a little bit of a DIY, which is not recommended by ProLon, obviously, but right. I know people who save their L drink and maybe they'll just do like a little mini 2-dayer in like a week or two, and they'll use that as their little bit of sort of ammunition for the day. I am here to speak on behalf of ProLon, so I am not recommending that this be done. However, I know people that do it and they think it's terrific, and they'll have like a little mini couple of day fast, and they do use the L drink in that manner. This morning, I had someone on the coaching call say to me, Audrey, I know you always tell us to throw away the L drink, but this morning I tipped over my entire L drink and I had nothing. Had I saved one of my bottles, that really would have come in handy. So I would say this, during the fast, maybe hold on to what's left. Stick it in the fridge because you just never know what's going to spill. And then you do need to have some backup. So not the worst thing in the world.
Discover movement will enhance your mobility, build strength, improve balance, and enable you to move with confidence and ease. To register, please visit our Discover Health online shop at members.discoverhealthfmc.com. These are some really good tips because I'm day 3, and as I say, that little box, get the big box, and then there's 5 little boxes. That little box becomes,
it's like
world each day.
It becomes your world. It really, really does. And I always recommend trying to delay the breakfast as much as you can, because I think most people tend to get hungrier as the day goes on. And evenings, that after dinner, we're used to maybe watching some television or relaxing. Many of us like to have a little after dinner something. So I think that has always been the hardest time, is the evening. So if you can save a cracker or save an olive or save a little bit of that L-bar, it really does come in handy.
Yeah, and I think, and that's what's interesting when you get this card that sort of tells you each day and what's the recommended time of ingesting each thing in the box.
Yes.
But it also says you can change the order of what's in the box.
Correct.
But not, take things from other boxes and switch it around.
That is correct.
That's a very important point.
That is
but
correct.
I must admit, to fit my lifestyle, I would actually say the opposite of what you just said, because I like to eat, a little more in the morning because I see patients all morning and I need the energy to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then, later afternoon, yes, but then dinner for me usually is just one of the soups. And then I'm done because I'm pretty much going to bed at especially during the fast.
Yes,
with
I know.
Time change right now. I'm pretty much in bed going to sleep by 8:30. So, it just depends on someone's lifestyle.
It really does. It's all, I mean, I get emails from people daily saying, I don't really eat until 2 p.m. And is it okay to do 2 to 8? Is it okay to do, noon to 5? Whatever works for you. When you're on ProLon, you do not need to intermittent fast. You do not need to follow any specific timing of your meals. But what is recommended is to space everything out. You're not eating a lot. There's not that much nourishment. So the more you can space things out to give yourself little drips of energy is definitely preferred. But you can do whatever you want. Absolutely.
Now, as I say, on day 3, and I've fasted quite a few times. I even teach, fasting and things, but there's a lot of people out there that obviously need support during this process. And I did notice there's a Facebook group, and I did notice, of course, yourself is actually the health coach this week for folks doing the 5-day. So tell us more about the support that ProLon offers for folks.
It's pretty amazing. So back last January was the very first time that they started offering this week-long coaching, which I know has made all the difference for everybody, because I'm coaching once a month. There are 3 of us in total, and we alternate weeks, and we all coach about once a month. And the emails I receive are, oh my goodness, I did this once, 6 months ago, and I didn't have coaching and I bombed. And having that daily support, and it's every single day for 7 days. There is a pre-day. There is it's 7 days. A pre-day where I get on and talk about what to expect. 5 days of the fast. And then there is a refeeding coaching day where I really get into what to do when you refeed. How do you then break into the food, and what to do really in between the rounds? Because most people are doing the 3 rounds in a row, 1 month in, month to month for 3 months, 3 cycles in a row. And they really want to continue to feel good and lose weight in between the cycles. So I do a lot of coaching around what to eat in between and how to really help these people to navigate their relationship with food. So in addition to the coaching that they offer, and that is for free, which is awesome, they also have the Fascination group. So that is a private Facebook group, but anyone can join. The group is outstanding. Everyone is chiming in every single day. I'm on, round 1, day 4, I'm on round 10, day 1, whatever that might be. And there's a tremendous amount of support. Everyone's chiming in and really lifting each other up. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place to go if you have any sort of questions. People can tag the coaches. We respond fairly quickly and really help people to manage all of this fasting stuff. So there's a tremendous amount of support being given by ProLon.
Yeah, and I did join the Fascination group, and I checked it out a couple times, and it was really interesting. Last evening I was reading one, and this woman said, I'm on tomorrow is day 3, and I'm a special ed teacher, and we're going on a field trip. Pray for me. I understood what you meant, because I was going into day 3 myself, and it was like, what's going on, and how do people feel while they're doing this? I mean, I can talk about how I feel, but what's the typical thing?
So it's really extremely individual. I hear everything from, I feel like I want to die, I'm starving, I am so uncomfortable, I'm never doing this again. I'm being very honest. To I can't believe how amazing I feel. My stomach has never been so flat. My energy is soaring. My headaches have gone away. I have no brain fog. I truly feel like a new human being. So it's really a matter of, where are these people in their lives? Are they used to eating poorly? Do they really abuse their bodies? Do they get enough sleep? Do they get enough hydration? Are they eating a lot of inflammatory foods? Are they eating gluten? Are they eating dairy? All of these things that we both know are extremely damaging, to our guts and to our overall well-being. And so this is the first time for so many people that they're actually eliminating a lot of the foods that are causing them a lot of issues. And they're not even aware of it until they start to feel good. I mean, one of my clients said, I haven't been able to walk up the stairs without pain in months. And just by, I think, eliminating the gluten and the processed foods, she's feeling a change in her body in terms of the inflammation. So there's a lot of great stuff happening. I would say 8 out of 10 people feel awesome. You always get your few that aren't so happy, yet all of my clients have had tremendous, tremendous success, not only losing, significant amounts of weight, but in terms of their blood work. I mean, their blood work is coming back and the doctors are really, really pleased with their numbers. We see a lot of insulin resistance healing, a lot of really great stuff. So, yeah, I mean, even, I can't speak to science about the cancer, but I have a lot of clients and participants who are like in remission and dealing with chemo and things of that nature. And even their numbers are coming back really, really strong. So there's a lot of positive feedback coming to us as a company, showing that fasting truly is pretty magical.
And fasting is, as a functional medicine specialist, that's why we promote and discuss fasting so much. Is again, the body's, when you're flying under the radar, but you're not feeling completely depleted, you can still function, but your body is going to look at all the old cells and the waste products, and they're going to use that before they're going to use, as you said before, the muscle, and we're going to burn fat sooner. And especially if you're supporting a little bit with the glycerol, then that's going to happen. And of course, the body then in the cancer world would possibly feed off the cancer cells because they need to go. So all of this is possible, and the theories behind it and the research is there to support it. I understand that the National Institutes for Health and the National Institute for Aging supports Dr. Longo's research and the ProLon Mimicking Fasting Diet.
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot. I think over the next few years, we are going to start to hear a lot more. I know they're doing a lot of other clinical trials. And I think we're going to start to hear, where I'll be able to actually say ProLon does help to achieve X, Y, and Z. We sort of can see that, I can see that within my own practice, and the doctors I work with are seeing it, but we will be able to make certain claims over the next number of years, which will be very exciting.
Awesome. Because I was fasting in general, and the intermittent fasting, and now this fasting mimicking diet helps everything from autoimmune disease to inflammation to arthritis to, as you mentioned, cancer. So it's just not one disease process, it's so many.
Correct.
As again, get to the root cause and help the body function optimally.
Yes.
So another question, Audrey, and kind of final questions here is, you mentioned the 5 days once a month for as much as 3 months. Give the thinking behind, doing this in that format.
Yes. So during the clinical trials for ProLon, participants did the fast once a month for 3 months in a row with 25 days in between. That was the clinical trial experiment. And so I believe their thought process is, after doing those 3 cycles, you really do, from a science perspective, get the most benefit. You reap the most benefit from the 3 months in a row. Now, you could do one cycle and still reap a ton of benefits, right? But in terms of claiming a certain amount of weight loss, it's because the clinical trials did the 3 cycles. And so that's what we really encourage. And then after the 3 months, you can do it as needed as you want. It is recommended to do it once every quarter, once every 3 to 4 months. I have some clients literally that are on a pretty big weight loss journey, and they're doing it every month for a year. And they've had really amazing results. Of course, that has to be done under the care of a physician. ProLon is not recommending that anyone does it once a month for a year, but as long as you are under the care of a healthcare practitioner, that's fine. And I have a lot of, people in my world that just do it once a quarter, or, the holidays are coming. Let me do it once before the holidays just to kind of reset my craving situation. And maybe I'll do it come the new year, that sort of a thing. But honestly, if you do it, anyone that's listening, if you do it even just once, you are giving your body a true gift. That is for sure.
Yeah, and what if someone says, well, I only have 2 days or only have 3 days. I don't have all 5 that I can actually make this work. What happens there?
I would say wait until you have 5 days, because it really is meant, you're only going to get into autophagy somewhere around the 72-hour mark. We really don't, science is not certain that we get into autophagy before then. So it really is meant to be 5 days. So if you can't figure out when you have 5 days to kind of clear your schedule, wait until you can. Don't waste the box. It's, it's not cheap. And wait until you have the 5 days to do it appropriately. I really strongly recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how do folks find out more?
So where do they go? Well, you could do a couple of things. You could go to ProLon.com. I mean, you can read a lot about ProLon on the website. You could go to my Instagram, because I have a whole highlight on ProLon, and I show what my days look like and I talk about it. So I give a lot of information about ProLon, and I'm always happy to answer questions. So if anybody ever wants to message me, my Instagram is Zo Healthy. It's Zo_healthy. Feel free to contact me. I'm always happy to share and to help people on their journey with ProLon. So I guess the best place is probably the website to just at least read about it, to order it. And you can always Google or go onto YouTube to listen to podcasts that Dr. Walter Longo has, is a guest on many, many podcasts. And it's so interesting to hear him talk about the benefits, and the science behind ProLon is amazing. So those are all really great places to read about the fast.
And as I've learned, and I'm doing this myself, also on my own website, discoverhealthfmc.com, folks can go to the shop and link right to ProLon. If you're not highly technical or whatever, and you're used to my website, because of being listening to the podcast, that's another avenue. And I believe you get a 10% discount as well. So awesome. Another option for folks. Perfect. So Audrey, you got that box, the box within the box, and you're doing day 5. Now, what about day 6, day 7? How does someone break the fast? Because it's real important not to just, with Thanksgiving coming, do this thing and then hit the turkey dinner with the gravy and the, the stuffing and the, So absolutely break this thing.
So day 6 really should be a light day. You're not necessarily continuing the fast. It's not recommended to go beyond the 5 days, but you want to go gently and lightly. So it's recommended to stick with soups, smoothies, juices, not fruit juice though, because you could trigger, too much sugar is not recommended right after the fast. You really had a very, very, very low glycemic 5 days. So we don't want to really jolt the body with a blood sugar spike. I always recommend starting the day with a fast bar. So for people who order ProLon, they often will get a box or 2 of the fast bars as a freebie. The fast bars are very much like the L bar, and they are just a little less calorie and a little less fat, but they're delicious, and they will keep you in the fasted state. They're made just like everything else in ProLon, and they will not tap into that food sensing system. So the the fast bar is a wonderful way to start to break that fast the following day. But if you're done with the bars and you're like, I've had it, you could have a smoothie. You could do, ProLon, a lot of people love to do like the avocado toast the next morning. I always recommend going lighter and more liquid for the breakfast and the lunch. If you, at that point, want a little bit more of a dinner, it could be some kind of a plant-based protein, or it could be animal protein, maybe a piece of fish, some vegetable. Keep it light. Day 7, it's recommended that you can go back to your normal eating regime, but keeping in mind, what is your normal? I'm not recommending you go and have a burger and a bun and fries and a milkshake. We want to, you've just done this beautiful cleanup of your insides, and you really want to make sure to put everything back in there that's clean and healthy and loaded with vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. So we really want to protect what we've done. So you don't want to jump into a lot of unhealthy food for sure. So yeah. So we always recommend, lots of plant, different forms, whether you are an animal protein person or plant-based protein, healthy fats, and really just staying away from the known offenders, the sugars, the processed foods, the inflammatory things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Audrey, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us all about the ProLon fasting mimicking diet. Is there anything else that we have that you wanted to tell us about this diet and this concept that we haven't covered?
I think we've actually covered quite a bit. I really do. I think we've covered a lot, and I hope that your listeners consider trying it. And especially with the holidays coming up and the new year coming up, I think it would be wonderful. Definitely, it's a great reset.
Yeah, and I'm feeling great on day 3. I'm looking forward to, the rest of today and into tomorrow. There's a few times I'm not gonna lie, there's a few times throughout the day I felt a bit depleted. But as I've said, I just drink some more of the drink that has the glycerol in it, or have a cup of tea, or it's time to have an L bar. So it's really not been bad, folks. I would definitely highly recommend it. Awesome. So if you want to learn more, go to prolonfasting.com, which is the main website. So Audrey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure, and best of luck to you finishing your fast.
Yes, I've got 2 more days to go.
You can do it.
I can do it. All right. Thanks, everyone.